listening to TMZ Movie Crashers.
Welcome back to TMZ's Movie Crashers. I'm your host, Fabian Garcia from TMZ.
I'm your host, Paige Catton from toofab.
And I'm your host, Liam Connaughton from TMZ.
Lots of movie news this week. There's so much going on.
It was hard to pick.
It really was. This was a hard lineup to get together.
Yeah.
But I think we got a good one. And right off the bat, I think we can start with the big motion picture, the big story of the week. And honestly, nothing seems more relevant to me than Amber Heard. She literally is on the stand this week testifying, now giving her story about this whole Johnny Depp saga. But something happened over the weekend that was interesting. We did a story about it on the website. There was a report out that claimed that based on the current cut and the current edit of Aquaman 2, which had already been delayed, it's coming out next year apparently, that Amber Heard supposedly has less than 10 minutes of screen time in this film, which is shocking, frankly. And look, I mean, this movie it's been wrapped since, I believe, January of this year is when they wrapped it. That's when James Wan did this big Instagram post. Sure. Without Amber, by the way. She's nowhere to be found in that Instagram post. Sure. He didn't shout her out or tag her or anything like that. But I don't think that, basically the report came out, it made it seem that what's happened with Amber Heard thus far, look, she's been painted in a very bad light up until this point. Like people, you look online and people are saying justice for Johnny and that.
All over TikTok.
Yeah.
All over TikTok. It's all Johnny
There's
Depp.
a very fierce squad, if you will, that's against Amber Heard, that believes that she's the real abuser, et cetera, et cetera. And that has been kind of building momentum throughout this entire trial. And then this report comes out this weekend and kind of at the pinnacle of all that news. So I don't personally think that if in fact it's true, let's just hedge that way. If it's true, I don't think that decision to cut her screen time down to less than 10 minutes happened suddenly. I think it's been planned. It was probably written that way into the script from the beginning. That's my hunch.
Even before, I'm pretty sure, even before they started filming, the petition started to have her removed from the film, and now it's like at over 3 million.
Right.
So I feel like people wanted Emilia Clarke to replace her.
They did, and even now that this supposed news is out about her having less than 10 minutes, people are saying why even have her in the movie at all? Just recast her, kind of thing.
Like, I'm really curious if she filmed more and then they cut it,
That's right?
Or she was, or in the
or if it was written that way to just downplay her character because she's a huge character. She plays Mara, Aquaman's literal love interest.
I've never seen Aquaman. Have you seen it?
Hell no, I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, you like DC? I know. I was like, come on, you like DC?
I pick and choose my DC movie. I pick and choose all my superhero movies, frankly. But so she's a big role in the first movie, and she was in the original Justice League, and I think she was even in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think they filmed.
Was she in the Snyder Cut?
She was in the Snyder Cut. Yeah.
I can't remember. It's
I
a little
remember
blur.
Willem Dafoe was in the Snyder Cut.
Right.
So she was probably in it too.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, look, I think Warner Brothers anticipated, because this trial, the lead up to this trial has been ongoing for months and months. People knew this trial was coming. Right. And I think Warner Brothers anticipated that when they were first getting the script together, kind of shooting the movie. And I think they might have been like, you know what? Let's play it safe with Amber Heard. We don't know how she's going to come out in this. And look, I mean, if you've been kind of monitoring this Johnny Depp thing like closely, the audio clips of her admitting to hitting Johnny Depp and seemingly coming off as sort of irrational and erratic and whatnot, these audio clips have been out for months, well before the trial even started. So I think Warner Brothers was cognizant of all that. They were worried that Amber Heard's going to be made to look kind of nuts here. So let's downplay her character. Let's play it safe. Let's downplay her character. And when it comes out, if that does in fact manifest, which it is in fact manifesting, we'll have covered our bases by not upplaying her character and giving her a ton of screen time, because that's going to be bad publicity. That's kind of my read on this whole thing.
But it is interesting though that Warner Brothers they have been kind of, I guess, close in their treatment of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, because obviously Johnny Depp, of course, was completely
axed.
Axed.
He was replaced. Literally
recast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, in a way, they kind of chose a side.
They did. That's 100% true that Warner did choose a side. And I think that sort of happened after the UK trial, right? That like in 2020, when he lost the UK trial, that's when Warner Brothers dropped the hammer and said, okay, you're out. We're going to bring Mads Mikkelsen in. But to your point, though, they did choose a side because people are online calling for Amber to be replaced, calling for the same treatment that Johnny got. Like, oh, you guys replaced him. Why don't you just replace her entirely? Yeah. And I got to be honest, like, to that point, I think it's sort of true. It's like if she's only going to be in this thing for less than 10 minutes as it is, just recast her. Just get her out of there. What difference does it make?
What is she? But then, then you think because because less than 10 minutes could be like, I don't know, is it going to be 5? Is it going to be
spread
7?
Out. It can be spread out throughout the whole
but
movie.
you think, you ever watch Dune? You still haven't watched it?
No, I haven't seen
You've
Dune
seen
yet.
Dune, right?
Whoa, yeah,
I know. Don't get me started. I've been trying. Don't get me started. I bother about them all the time. You're going to watch it. Okay.
Go on.
So Zendaya is only in the film for like 8 minutes total. But she is a main character technically.
Really?
Because they introduced
a lot
her.
Of posters, right?
She did all the press. She was like,
yeah.
But Warner Brothers was smart with that. They had her go. They brought in the Gen Zers. But in that sense, her character, you can't. If you took her out, it wouldn't be good because they needed it for the next, the
Apparently
future
she's
installments.
going to be heavily featured in the next movie.
Because it's the second part.
Right.
But when you think about this, so then I'm like, okay, maybe less than 10 minutes. That could actually be
impactful.
Necessary.
It can be impactful, basically.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, because like
so first I'm like 10 minutes. I'm like, no,
on
that's
its
nothing.
face, less than 10 minutes in a 2-hour-plus movie sounds minor.
Exactly.
But if you spread it out correctly, I suppose you can still have some impact.
Could be the most important 10 minutes of the entire film.
It could be.
Maybe he's like dying and I don't know.
One question I want to ask about Amber Heard real quick, because as we were kind of toying with this idea for a topic, the thought crossed my mind: how much of a career really did Amber Heard have before Johnny Depp, during Johnny Depp, and now post Johnny Depp? Because I looked at her IMDb page. There's no doubt that she did a fair amount of acting. She's got 51 credits to her name. But even on the stand today, I was watching her testimony. She was saying, early in my career, from like the early 2000s to the mid to late 2000s, I was doing a lot of minor roles. I was in a lot of big movies.
Like Pineapple Express.
But very minor roles. And she's acted with some big actors, obviously. James Franco, Kevin Costner, Nick Cage. You know what I mean? She's been on like some B movies, etc. But she never had a big splash. She was never like a mainstream A-list actress until Warner Brothers came along and got her an Aquaman, which, by the way, Johnny Depp takes credit for. In fact, about a week or so ago, he was on the stand saying, I got Amber Heard that part. We have that sound. Let's hear Johnny speak.
You didn't want her to take the meeting that she was taking that day, correct?
It seems as though we had an agreement. What seems like we had an agreement to do something together. I'm actually asking what species of mating. So this is not necessarily an angry text. It's just, why do you deviate from our agreement? It's not about her doing films. How do you think she got Aquaman, sir?
So that's Johnny Depp's very long-winded explanation. That's how he speaks. He speaks in lots of riddles, etc.
I love it.
But the whole back and forth there was basically Amber Heard's attorney trying to get Johnny to admit, you wanted to control her career. You didn't want her to be as successful. You were trying to hold her back. He said, no, the exact opposite is true. I got her Aquaman. And frankly, I totally believe that. Johnny Depp, as big of a star as he was and as he is, he probably pulled some strings and got her into Aquaman. You know what I mean? Because up until then, Amber Heard was sort of just an up-and-coming actress, not really a rising star, I would say. Right. She was working consistently, but I wouldn't call her a rising star until she got with Johnny Depp. Here's the funny thing. Now that the dust is sort of settling at this point with all the Johnny Depp stuff, I looked at Amber Heard's IMDb page, and it does not look like she has much work like now or going forward. Like Aquaman 2 is in the can. That's ready. That'll come out in March of next year. But she's working on, I think, 2 other films. She's been cast in one, which is like some Italian movie or something. Cool. And then another one, which is like another sort of B-ish kind of movie or an indie flick or something like that. So she's not really getting much work. So I guess what I'll say is that the fans who are calling for Amber Heard's career, you might have already gotten your wish, frankly, because she's not working in much. Yeah.
I have an opinion about this, and I'm curious if you guys think this is too soon to even say this.
Go ahead.
So although the trial is far from over, isn't it only like halfway?
Sort of, yes.
Yeah, okay, around halfway. So I feel like at this point, no matter what happens, I think that Johnny Depp's career could possibly recover in the future. But I don't think hers will, even if she does win, because there wasn't really much of a career to begin with.
That's true.
Is that too bold to say?
No, I think you're kind of spot on there. I mean, I'd like to think that Johnny Depp's career could perhaps get revived, but I'll be honest.
Not to the extent. I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I'm talking like blockbuster, like studio films. Can he come back and make a big mainstream splash again? I don't think so because I think the studios, Disney, Warner Brothers, like you say, they've kind of made their decision. They've spoken their piece. They kind of made a decision on Johnny Depp, like, you're out. Pirate 6, you're out. Like Fantastic Beasts, you're out. And for a studio to then turn around and recast them again in like another Pirates movie, they would look like phonies and hypocrites. And I don't think studios like that. They're very concerned with their image. And they're like, you know what? We already drew a line in the sand with
They're
Johnny.
not going to be like, I effed up.
Exactly. I think they're going to be like, we drew a line. We're going to stay on this side of the line. Unfortunately, despite how we might feel about things now. And I think Johnny Depp, he'll probably continue working in movies, but never to the extent that he once was. That's that. And to your point about Amber Heard, you're right. Probably didn't have much of a career to begin with. And I don't think she's going to have much of a career after this, too. And she's got a baby now, too, on top of everything. So that's a whole other, can of worms. But so, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with Amber Heard. Like I said, she's testifying now. We're monitoring the trial, but it's fascinating.
Do you think, maybe let's see what you think about this, Liam. Do you think that their Warner Brothers is going to let her to do press at all?
No, I don't think so. That's a very good observation.
That is a good point.
And I don't think they're going to do it. I
didn't let Leslie Miller.
I think that's even why they pushed Aquaman 2 back because it was supposed to come out this December. And they're like, no, too soon to the trial. And they're definitely not going to let her do any press, regardless of how this turns out, frankly.
And let's not forget that the op-ed came out when around the timing of the first Aquaman.
Yes. In fact, I think that people were, the ACLU guy who was like the head of the ACLU, he testified last week that her and her team wanted the op-ed to come out during the release of Aquaman to kind of get it more publicity. That's what he testified to. That doesn't look good for Amber. That makes her seem as scheming and kind of conniving, et cetera. So again, I don't think it's going to work out for her either way. So we'll see. But anyway, we can move on.
Yeah.
We'll leave Amber Heard on the shelf for now. And we can move on to our next segment, Casting a Light. There's a lot of casting news, actually. Meg Ryan is apparently going to be directing and starring in a new rom-com. Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al.
First trailer came out.
Yeah, first trailer came out. Lots of stuff. But the one we're going to focus on is the fact that the Don't Worry, Darling trailer dropped. And this is our first look seeing Harry Styles and Florence Pugh in their roles in this dramatic kind of role as like
psychological thriller.
Psychological thriller, suburban couple kind of going through it.
Utopian
Chris
society.
Pine is up in there. Olivia Wilde's in there too.
Gemma Chan's
in there. So the trailer came out. It looks fantastic.
So good.
One thing I'll say real quick about Harry Styles. So I saw him in Dunkirk. He did fine work in Dunkirk. He was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, he was great.
I usually don't like the idea of like musicians transitioning into movies like back and forth. I'm very much a traditionalist. Stay in your lane. I know that sounds shitty, but that's the truth. I'm a stay in your lane kind of guy.
Sure.
But I'm not terribly mad at Harry Styles kind of pivoting to movies a little bit. And from the trailer, it looks very dramatic.
This is his first lead role, I believe.
Yes, I think so. And you know what it reminds me of? Have you guys seen Revolutionary Road with Kate Winslet?
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
It's from the 2000s. The movie was big at the time because first of all, tons of Oscar buzz.
I remember that.
It was the first time they were like reuniting on film since Titanic. So it was a big deal back in like 2006 or whenever it came out. But that movie's also about a suburban couple in the 50s. And them just having this like toxic relationship, fighting with each other. Tons of good yelling from Leo, like crazy at Kate Winslet, and she even like has an abortion in the movie and does the whole coat hanger thing. It's wild. As intense,
very topical.
Exactly as intense as that movie was though at the time. I saw the trailer for Don't Worry, Darling, and it had the exact same vibes, if not more so. Like fights, yelling, and even like a psychological thing going on too.
It's like a utopia society. So
yes.
it's like cultish.
It reminds me of like Stepford Wives or something. Very much like something sinister is going on.
For sure.
Well, to tie it to Florence Pugh, it did give an essence of like Midsummer.
100%.
Like she's looking up at someone.
Where she's in this chaotic world. She's freaking out, doesn't know what's going on. Very much so like Midsummer.
Very well.
I was telling you this. I was talking earlier. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk about Florence Pugh because I love Florence Pugh. But I've actually never seen Midsummer.
Oh,
because horror films are hard for me to watch.
Well, it's not an excuse, but anyway.
That one's I feel like
it's not really a horror
film. That one's less horror.
It's like a psychological thriller.
Okay, then maybe I'll watch it.
It's good.
So I can watch those.
Especially if you're a fan of hers, you gotta watch it.
I love her.
Definitely disturbing. In fact, there was somebody, speaking of Dave Chappelle, the guy getting pummeled by the Dave Chappelle crew, somebody tweeted something about Midsummer. Like, remember when the old man falls off the cliff and his legs all smashed up?
Is that what you tweeted earlier?
Yes. And he's like mangled.
What are you tweeting?
Somebody posted a screenshot of that scene from the movie Midsummer and said, oh, this is the guy that got mangled by Dave Chappelle's crew. And I laughed so hard. It's a very specific reference. If you haven't seen Midsummer, you don't get it.
I was literally like, what is Fabian doing?
It's a Midsummer reference.
Dave Chappelle, huh?
But like I say, Don't Worry, Darling looks fantastic. Olivia Wilde is directing that movie.
A lot of sex scenes too.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of Olivia Wilde, you know, Cinemacon was, I don't know if it's still going on. I think it might have wrapped already.
It's done.
It's done at this point. But last week, she was presenting the trailer for Don't Worry, Darling at Cinemacon in Vegas. And a wild thing happened on stage in the middle of this giant theater while she was doing it. Somebody served her legal papers, like right on stage. A guy walks up, drops the papers down, and her reaction's kind of interesting. We actually have the sound for that. Let's play a little bit of that right now.
This is for me, right now? This is very mysterious. I'm gonna open it now because it feels like it's time. Is it a script? Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you. But, you know, and gorgeous cars, but also the things that...
So there she is.
Oh, got
Moves
it.
right along.
Yeah, moves right along. Pretty professional.
Yeah.
I'll give it to her.
Yeah.
She kept it together, kept her composure, and kept it moving, which is great. But, you know, and then after the fact, it was revealed that these documents were child custody documents that were apparently served on behalf of Jason Sudekis, her ex.
They have 2 kids.
Yeah, and they have 2 children together, 2 young children. Can I be honest with you? So when I heard all that and I kind of processed everything, because Jason Sudekis came out and said, I had no idea it was going to be served in this manner.
Or the time,
or the timing. I'm blaming the process serving company or whatever. I'm calling BS on Jason Sudekis. I think I think he 100% knew when they were going to be served. I think he might have wanted them served at that moment. I think Jason Sudekis was out to humiliate her. But here's my thing. I'm going to defend Jason Sudekis because here's my heart. Like my gut is telling me that Jason Sudekis is a good guy, generally a good guy, and I totally believe that. Watch Ted Lasso and you'll know what I'm talking about.
You've seen Ted Lasso, right?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Yes. So
Obsessed.
I don't think Jason Sudekis was out to humiliate her if he didn't have to. And I think what you know, we'll see if there's more reporting that comes from this. But I think what happened was that Olivia Wilde might have been ducking him and kind of ignoring him, and he's been trying to get this custody thing settled with her. And at a certain point, he just threw up his hand and said, "Fine, screw it. You want to play games with me? I'm going to get you at the worst possible time and make a fool out of you. 1, to pay you back for ducking me in the first place on this, because this is an important matter. But 2, maybe a little bit of a revenge for how you did me, leaving me for Harry Styles. Because when they broke up a couple years ago, that was stunning
Wait,
news.
I thought they broke up and then she got with Harry Styles.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, look,
Wasn't there time in between?
It doesn't matter. Like, the point is, you left me and immediately got with Harry Styles.
Okay.
I consider that leaving me for Harry Styles.
Okay.
That's how I see that.
Okay.
And I think, I'm sure he saw it that way too. And it was at the time they talked about it as, oh, it's very amicable. We're going our separate ways. It's very loving. I think he was hurt and embarrassed by that. And frankly, it was embarrassing. If you looked at the coverage, like, people felt bad for Jason Sudekis. Like, God damn, like, you got left by Olivia Wilde for Harry freaking Styles, who was like 10 years her youth or whatever. So, like, I think he might have been in the back of his mind saying, okay, you wanna duck me? Fine, I'll get you at the worst possible time. But also, a little payback for screwing me over and leaving me for this young hotshot or whatever. And you know what I mean? Like, everyone is dating younger than they should be, in my opinion. That's the story of Hollywood these days.
Sure.
In addition to Olivia Wilde, but I think Jason Sudekis did do it on purpose, and I think he did it with those 2 intentions in mind.
I think that's a big.
Is that a big leap?
It's a very hot take, Fabian.
I mean, come on, it's Fabian. What do you expect?
It's hot take, Fabian.
Hot take, Fabian.
I don't know. I think it's contradicting to say, I don't know, Jason Sudeikis is a good guy, and then said, oh, he's sought out for revenge.
Even good guys can have their comeuppance sometime, or not their comeuppance, but they can have their revenge. Good guys deserve revenge. That's what I say.
Yeah, but
Are
I
you
don't know,
Does that kind of contradict him being a good guy if he wants revenge?
yeah, I mean, the way he did it, yeah, I don't think that makes him look like a good guy.
Well, my biggest thing
Well,
is
maybe he's not such a good guy then.
Well, my
There you go.
biggest thing is, I mean, people. Okay, well, first of all, I'll wait on this. So,
There's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, so I was going to say something else, but I'll say this other thing first. Okay, so I do think that people do some crazy, impulsive, slightly extreme shit when they're can I curse? When they're hurt,
Yeah.
and so I believe like. Jason Sudekis, I see him as Ted Lasso, even though obviously like he's playing a character.
right.
But he seems like, from what I've read, like stories, and he just seems like super
very
down to earth,
Yes.
very genuine, and it's complicated because I like Harry Styles, I like Olivia Wilde, like I loved Booksmart, but when I see Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde, I'm like, okay, Team Jason.
I am too.
So it's like complicated because, but I'm excited for this movie, and I love Olivia Wilde as a filmmaker, and I love Harry Styles as a musician, and I'm excited to see him as an actor. But I love Jason Sudeikis.
I think what you're saying is separating the art from the artist. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like how Olivia Wilde did Jason Sudeikis. I just don't like it. I think that was dirty. but she's a fantastic director and she makes good movies. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to see her film, you
well,
know?
and the other thing I was going to say, so I could see if he was going to do something because he was hurt, but at
Right.
the same time, I feel like this is a little extreme.
I
But
don't think he did it.
But one thing that I think we have to think about, how did the person get in?
Probably
because-
just bought a ticket like
Because
everybody else.
because like you have to have like non-industry members had to have like, Vax card,
Right.
all these like credentials and everything.
Right.
So I don't know if like a regular attendee could have gotten into this event.
That's a lot of like hoops to jump through just to serve some papers, though, right?
Right.
Exactly.
A lot.
And that's what's weird.
So that's what makes me think it's a conspiracy and that Jason Sudeikis did have a hand in it because he could Jason Sudeikis could certainly pull strings to get a process server into that building if he wanted to, and I'm sure he did. That's my
That is
theory.
very interesting.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise, who's this schmuck from the street? How's he
Yeah.
going to get in? You know,
That's
it doesn't
true.
make any sense.
That's true. I mean, unless Jason was just like, "Hey, I need you to serve them," and the guy just,
By any
like,
means
took it upon
necessary.
himself.
Yeah.
to
See,
be like,
that's
"Oh,
what
let me
I-
embarrass her on camera."
See, I
Right.
think that is more of a possibility than what Fabian said. See, I think it could have been, you need to give us to her when she's in Vegas, like whatever. But I don't know if he would go so far to be like when she's on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
why
mean,
did it have to be in that? Like, I don't know how long was she on stage? Like, not very
I
long.
like to assume the worst in people and then hope for the best. That's
Okay.
kind of my thing
Cool.
on that.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly. In any case, we'll leave that on the shelf as well. We will monitor. I'm very much looking forward to Don't Worry, Darling.
So excited.
But with that, I think we can move on to our next segment, which is the Hollywood Hoedown. Yes, we will
There
do
you
that.
go. We got
There
you
it
here.
is. We got you now. We will do that. We're going on to the Hollywood Hoedown now. This is the breakout stories of the week. And the one that really stood out to me this week was over the weekend, Bill Murray coming out and addressing this on-set complaint that was about him and that got the production shut down. There's a lot of rumors and speculation and innuendo about what Bill Murray might have done. And he kind of spoke to it a little bit. And he didn't get into the nitty-gritty of it, but what he had essentially admitted, in my eyes, was I did something that somebody else felt was inappropriate.
A female.
Maybe a female.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little out of touch. I don't want to be an old dog who can't learn new tricks. And Bill he said it more eloquently than I'm saying it here. In fact, let's actually hear how he said it at CNBC.
Well, there's a difference we had a difference of opinion. I had a difference of opinion with a woman I'm working with. I did something I thought was funny, and it wasn't taken that way. The company, the movie studio, wanted to do the right thing, so they wanted to check it all out, investigate it, and so they stopped the production. But as of now, we're talking, and we're trying to make peace with each other. I think that's where the real issue is between our peace. We're both professionals. We like each other's work. We like each other, I think, and if we can't really get along and trust each other, there's no point in going further, working together or making a movie as well.
There he is speaking on it. And what's interesting to me about this is that, look, he didn't name names. It could be anybody, right? It could be any female co-star of his on the set. We don't know who's really in that movie. There's only been 6 to 8 actors that have been announced and attached. The only female actress that I've seen on IMDb that's attached to that movie, it's Being
Mortal.
Being Mortal, which is the Aziz Ansari featured debut.
Directorial debut.
Directorial debut is Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is the only female star that's attached to that movie thus far. I'm not saying it is Keke Palmer, but I suspect it is Keke Palmer. And the reason I say that is because, look, Keke Palmer's been very outspoken lately. She's been outspoken about Trey Songz. She was outspoken a couple weeks ago about a fan invading her personal space, getting too close for
No
comfort.
means no.
Exactly, no means no. So Keke Palmer lately has been kind of, hitting the drum here on this type of thing. And I could totally see her being the person checking Bill Murray. Because, look, I mean, I don't want to get too much into this, but there have been a lot of rumors over the years about Bill Murray's conduct on set. Some people have said that he's gotten a little out of pocket with some people, or
Like Lucy Liu?
Lucy Liu, a little inappropriate with some people. And I'm sure, who knows if that's true or not, but like, I could buy that. I could see that.
It's a trend in like kind of older white actors.
For sure.
in
And
Hollywood,
I think because he has this iconic, legendary status, and for good reason, I think he's an older guy. He's from a different era. You know what I mean? And I could totally see somebody like Keke Palmer, young, fresh, not afraid of Bill Murray, doesn't give a shit who Bill Murray is.
She is not afraid to speak her mind.
Exactly. I think a lot of people who are veterans in Hollywood would never say anything to Bill Murray out of like reverence, respect, or maybe fear.
Right.
Keke Palmer doesn't come off as that type of person to me. She speaks her mind. If she feels like something is wrong, she will say something about it, as she has done publicly many times now. So I believe this is Keke Palmer, and if that's in fact true, I'm happy to hear that he's sort of owning up to it and admitting to it a little bit. Again, we don't know exactly what was done. I'm sure we'll learn more about that soon.
Yeah.
Just inappropriate behavior.
Right. But the fact that he seems to be trying to make peace with her, he's like, we're on the phone, we're talking, we're trying to reconcile.
Yeah.
That gives me hope that this movie's going to get back on track and get made.
Yeah.
But really interesting. I mean, what do you guys make of all that?
So the first thing I have to say, so if the female is Keke Palmer
Sure.
or any other experienced actress, let's just say
Right.
it is Keke Palmer. I think that someone like her who's been in the business for a long time.
Yeah, she's going to be in Nope. She's
Yeah.
been in she was in Hustlers.
And she's done like talk shows. She was a child
Yeah.
star. She does singing,
Right.
music. So she does so
she's
much.
sort of a veteran in the industry too, a little bit.
Totally, yeah. And I don't think that she would have made a complaint or filed a complaint
If it wasn't serious.
if it wasn't serious, because
agree.
she knows, or any other experienced actress we could assume would know what the consequences would be.
Yes.
It would be
in this climate,
it would be
yes.
an investigation. It would pause production.
Yep.
It could possibly
Derail the movie.
The movie, they could no longer have work. The movie could be completely scrapped.
That screws her up just as much. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it had to be something really offensive
Wow.
for her to take, or the other actress
I
to
didn't
take
even
those
think about that. You're right, because
steps.
you're right. She is a veteran.
It's not just like, oh, that was
You're
mean.
right. She's
Yeah.
experienced, and you're right. There's more implications and ramifications to doing this than just like I'm going to complain about Bill Murray. It shuts production down. It can maybe lose you some work too. And I agree. Like, it must have been serious enough for her to have been like, yeah, I understand all that, but fuck it. This is still too big. This is still too big for me to ignore.
Yeah.
I need to complain about this,
Yeah.
which kind of makes me wonder what might have been done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think any number of things. Right?
Sure.
I mean, we've seen this not so much from a movie standpoint, although I'm sure it's happened just as much. But Chevy Chase on the set of
Yes,
Community
That's right.
for 4 long years, the cast
Yes.
and crew had to deal with it.
Very colorful comments from Chevy Chase.
I know Donald Glover was not Chevy Chase's biggest fan on
No.
set at all, as was anyone.
And
but
funny enough, Chevy Chase is from that same era of SNL, that
exactly, and
exact
that's-
same era.
That's very interesting that, like,
Yeah.
is history repeating itself here? Do they
Right.
have a lot more in common than you think? But I don't know. I think if this was Keke Palmer or, again, anyone else that it could have been, good on them. Honestly, I think I think I think it must have been very warranted for whatever was said. Again, obviously we don't know, but
Yeah.
I think Bill Murray, if he's telling the truth in this interview, I think to an extent he did handle it well in terms of what he's
as
saying.
well as he could, anyway. Yeah.
After the fact, obviously
Yeah.
he didn't handle himself well during,
Right,
but
right.
I think what he said kind of about moving forward, again, if it's true, we don't know if this is true. We don't know if
He
he's
could just be
talking,
saying
but,
that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he owned up to it very well, like you said, and I'm interested to just see what this movie is.
Yeah.
In the end-
Yeah.
You know what it's about? It's apparently it's based on a book. And it's about like old people in like retirement homes and nursing homes and like hospice care.
Huh.
And it kind of focuses on what do you call it? The quality of life. It's like a quality of life thing. And the movie kind of explores what's the best route to take when it comes to dealing with these people. Do we prolong their lives and kind of keep them going? Or do we kind of,
That
snip,
is
kind of cut them off a little bit?
Very ironic,
It's
right?
yeah, it is.
I wonder who Bill Murray plays in this movie.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that I feel like I thought of, and I could be wrong on this, but the fact that it was, because we did it before it wasn't even confirmed that it was Bill Murray. Before it came out that it was Bill Murray,
Right.
we wrote a story I wrote the story for Toofabs. It was like the report that it was, someone filed a complaint against, like a female co-star filed a complaint against one of the male stars or whatever, something like that. But it didn't say who it was. It
Right.
wasn't confirmed.
Right.
And the fact that it was an Aziz Ansari film,
Yeah.
that was the first thing. Like, oh, what if is it not Aziz? And so I feel like
I'm
as
sure
Aziz,
Aziz
he's probably
is
pissed.
He's probably furious about
because
this
wasn't this the first big thing he's done?
it's his directorial debut.
I meant, sorry,
it's like
since his whole scandal. Is this
I
one of
think
the
so.
one of the biggest?
I know he
things?
did another season of Master of None.
He's done
and
some stand up.
He's done some stand up too. He hasn't been fully canceled, but you're right. He has this sort of Me Too cloud around him
Yeah.
anyway. So for this to kind of sort of pop up, I'm sure he was pissed off. Like, God damn it! Like, why me?
Exactly.
Why me on my movie of all places? But then it's also, again, I despite that, if he was in fact upset, I'm sure he's a good guy. and I'm sure
always
I'm sure he was like, you know what? What's right is right. Let's just get
They
this
say he's
right.
working with the studio and everything.
100%.
So I feel like who knows? Maybe he could be trying to mediate it.
He might be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But like, just going back to your point, big picture, I think it's good to sort of weed this sort of behavior out because, you know, there's a lot of old dogs here in Hollywood, a lot of old G's. And sometimes they get out of pocket and they got to get checked. You know what I mean?
Just that generation in general. Like some things that they say, like some things that my dad says, I'm like, Dad, you can't say that.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And they
like,
do need to be told that.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
They
hey,
need to be
you
checked.
can't do or say this. Like, come on.
But it's, you know, it's one thing to check your dad. It's another thing to check like a multi-millionaire
Exactly.
actor that's like, I've seen it all. I was Garfield, for God's sake. You know, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should know better by now. My dad.
I was in Ghostbusters. Do you know who I am?
Oh yeah, that might have been better than Garfield. Yeah.
Garfield.
Anyway, good on Bill Murray for sort of owning up to it. Hopefully they can reconcile and move past this. But yeah, we will monitor that and see what happens. It's very interesting, and I'm curious to see this movie as well.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we can move on to our next segment, which we like to call Coming Soon. And there's nothing bigger that's coming soon this weekend than Doctor Strange 2. It has a longer name. Liam, what is the title of this thing? I don't know what it's called.
Thanks for asking me. It's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
There we go. And for this segment, we have a special guest, Chantel from
Hi.
Social.
Woo!
Hello. Thank
I'm
you.
so excited to
Thank
be
you for
here.
joining us. So look, I mean, this is the biggest movie that's coming out this weekend. I think Hollywood has cleared the runway for this movie. There's nothing else really coming out. A lot of buzz. You know, the premiere was on Monday, I believe. And there's a lot of spoilers that are kind of leaking out. We actually did a story about it on the weekend about, spoiler alert, sorry. John Krasinski is apparently cast in this movie as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. And this was leaked through like, I guess somebody recorded like some footage of it or something. It seems kind of shady. And then you know it's real because Disney was going around taking down this
Still on
footage.
Twitter.
It's still on Twitter, but they were trying as hard as they could to like take it down, yank it down. Whenever a studio does that, you know it's real. What do we make of the fact that the spoilers have come out this?
And also, one other thing that I don't know if you saw this in the photo, because I saw it, maybe I was looking at a different one. This was also a rumor that it's Tom Cruise is in there. Is he not in that photo?
I heard the Tom Cruise
is supposedly supposed to be an Iron Man variant.
But I heard he's not in this movie. Well, I don't know. There's a lot.
I heard he might be in
so
the movie.
real quick, I mentioned this before I forget. So last night, Benedict Cumberbatch was on Fallon.
Okay.
And I really just watched this like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
He was on Fallon, and Fallon was obviously trying to get like any sort of like spoilers or something
Sure.
from Benedict Cumberbatch. And Benedict's like, okay, I can give you kind of a spoiler, but not really, of someone who's in it. But I'm going to sing a theme song of something else they were in. And he did I'm not even trying to do it, but
Mission Impossible?
No, Top Gun.
I don't know what's the theme song for Top Gun.
Yeah.
No, that's Star
That's like
Wars.
Superman.
No,
Yeah, that's or
I
something.
can't do it. But it was Top Gun.
I do not know the Top Gun theme song.
Okay,
if
anyway,
there
it was
is one.
it was Top Gun.
Okay, it was Top Gun.
And then
Did Fallon guess it, or did they guess the name on
No.
the show? Oh,
That
they
would
didn't.
that would be too on the nose.
But
right?
you're saying people.
but then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Like, because Fallon guessed and he goes, oh, just kidding, he's not in it. But then everyone in the comments were like, if Tom Cruise is in it, I'm gonna be pissed.
Wow. Well, because so like you say, Tom Cruise. There's been rumors that Tom Cruise would be like an Iron Man variant.
That was one of the first ones.
But I was
It
reading
was.
from supposed insiders on Twitter that he's not in this movie. That's just sort of a red herring, apparently. I don't know. What
I mean, honestly, with Tom Cruise, without Tom Cruise, there are so many characters that are being introduced and so many plot lines, whether it's through leaks, whether it's through
Right.
the
Yeah.
multiple trailers that have been released, that I'm genuinely worried. The film runtime is still 2 hours and 6 minutes long.
it's kind of short.
It's not that long,
not
especially
sh-
for
not
like
Marvel.
Batman.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just so worried that it's going to open up a lot of questions that you're going to need to have answered by watching future MCU projects. And that's been my big frustration with Phase 4 is there have been a few projects that are like, okay, all these cool things have been introduced, but then this person will return in ... And I feel
Right.
like Multiverse has been the movie that's the buildup. And I'm just so worried that if there's no payoff or minimal payoff, it'll be very frustrating.
Right. What sort of a payoff are you looking for exactly? Like,
I mean, I just hope
I'm just kind of going in blind, like whatever. Show me whatever character. Show me Professor X. Like I don't give a shit. Like just
We
show me
know,
stuff.
we
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. You know me. I'm a
He's a DC
There's something
boy.
that I do want to say to you, but we'll get back to that later.
But what
about-
sort of payoff are you
yeah.
looking for exactly?
I mean, I just hope it doesn't introduce all these characters just to be like, cool, here's a fun cameo. That's it. And
Well-
then move along.
Right.
Aren't-
If if the John Krasinski cameo, if you will, does in fact happen, which I think it will, him as Mr. Fantastic,
Which is a fan cast.
It was a fan
big
cast.
fan
You're right.
cast.
It was a fan cast at first.
Which
Turns out the people were right.
Sure.
But they're actually coming out with a Fantastic Four movie again, and I think the director John Watts dropped out of that, kind of unexpectedly, no real reason. The speculation is that Krasinski will helm that movie, not only star in it as Mr. Fantastic, but actually helm it and direct it. That's what I've been hearing. Right. So
that would be pretty
I think
awesome.
Krasinski's coming on for the MCU, like officially. We'll see about Emily Blunt as the Invisible Woman. Time will tell.
I'd be so down
I would
for
love
that.
that.
Okay, cool. I mean, I think to what you said, like, I just don't want like a bunch of cameos and not see anything.
Right.
This is pushed as the MCU, one of the MCU's first like horror films.
Right. Thanks to Sam Raimi.
Yes,
That's what I was
exactly.
going to say. Like, you could like it because it's
And
supposed to
I'm
be
very
really
interested in it. Yes.
It's supposedly supposed to have like, that gruesome killing and
Right.
death that like an Evil Dead, obviously a lot bigger
supposed
budget
to be, like,
than
gory
Evil Dead,
and
but yeah.
violent.
So like, what better way to like show that off and just kill a bunch of people than like have a bunch of like cameo variants that you just kill off.
Go
I don't-
super dark.
That's the one thing you guys have to explain this to me because I'm not in this world. I don't understand.
know what a
So-
variant is?
Yeah, no. So I mean, like, okay, like if John Krasinski
That was a
shows,
genuine question.
if John Krasinski shows up as Mr. Fantastic and all these other like not so known Marvel characters show up, and what's her face, Elizabeth Olsen, what's her character?
Scarlet Witch.
Witch.
Okay, there we go. Scarlet
What's
Witch.
her
If
face?
Scarlet Witch kills those characters in the movie, which I
Sure.
think that's the word is that she's going to kill all of them.
I've heard that too.
Does that mean that they're not dead? I don't understand. Like, what do you mean by like a variant? Like, are they not the originals?
You can explain
or-
that.
So-
I'll let you.
So
explain that.
variant,
Educate me because I don't
which
understand
was
what's
kind
going
of
on.
like for the MCU introduced in Loki. Right?
Yeah.
So good.
There are variants of yourself in different universes.
Right.
And so, thus causing the multiverse as a whole. So, there can be a Fabian in a different universe that either
really?
looks completely different
That sounds exciting.
or can look identical to you, but it might just come down to like maybe he's got different opinions than you do. So
Sure.
like there's different there are varying variants in a
Like,
way.
okay, like everything everywhere all at once.
Yes.
It's that kind of
exactly.
thing.
I understand.
If you
Okay.
die in one, you're not dead in the
Okay,
other.
so if that is the case, if Krasinski and all these other characters that are going to pop up and they're killed, if they are just variants and their deaths don't actually matter, that's such a cop out to me. That there's no stakes in that. What kind of a movie? There's no stakes at all in that. Why would I care about that? If Krasinski dies or doesn't, it's like you're not even the real one. Why does it matter? It's like that's the problem with this multiverse shit. Like I'm sorry, but like there's like I say, the stakes. There's no real stakes. It's anything's possible. We can undo anything. Anybody can pop up and disappear. We kill off a variant. Here's the original. You know what I mean? Like nothing means anything. There's no.
But that means you can do anything as well. Just the same way
It's
that you
a
can
double-edged sword.
not do anything, you can do.
But then doesn't that take away the impact of stuff, the impact of characters dying or not? You know what I mean? There's no stakes in this. From just the fact that multiverses can happen and any type of reality is possible. Like that doesn't seem. It's no big deal to me. It's almost like why are we even watching this movie? Nothing matters. It's just like.
So
Sorry, I don't get it.
No,
but-
that's a fair.
It's okay.
point.
Go on, continue, please. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I interrupted you. So, okay, so one thing that you're gonna have to correct me on this if I'm wrong because I literally did some, Googling, Wikipediaing. So the Illuminati,
Not that Illuminati, but Marvel's Illuminati.
Marvel's
Marvel's
Illuminati.
yeah.
Not the
in-
real one. Sorry.
no.
Just kidding.
So-
just kidding.
So like in the trailer, what's his name? Mordor.
Mordor.
No, Mordor.
This might be a Sean Paul question, actually.
Okay,
I'm not-
Mordor. He says like the Illuminati will see you now. Well, I Googled and I looked up on Wikipedia who the Illuminati are,
Yeah.
and it is Professor
Professor X.
X,
Yep.
Iron Man, not Captain Marvel, and then
Not Captain
It is
Carter.
Captain. It's a
Wait, I
Captain
wrote this
Marvel
down.
variant apparently.
Captain
Captain
and
Kirk?
also
No, not
Black
Captain Kirk. Sorry, that's different.
Black Bolt, which apparently is in some show that I never watched.
Black Bolt.
Inhumans.
I've never heard of Black Bolt
and
before.
then Mr. Fantastic. So like, are we thinking that leak is the Illuminati and like that's who he goes to see? Because in the trailer he has like the shackles, and then he
Right.
goes, and then the Illuminati will see you now, and then it's Professor X on the little chair.
I think it could be, right? Like it's possible that what that leak is at least part of the Illuminati, right?
Right?
I definitely agree, and I think
Did I say that correctly? I'm like trying
I
to.
think so.
No,
Yeah.
I think so. And I think if you're basing it off of like what Doctor Strange did at the end of No Way Home, which was basically open the portals to all these to the multiverse, basically, it would make sense that this is the beginning of the film or one of
Right.
the first scenes where he has to kind of face what he's done in front of an actual tribunal. One thing I am confused about though is at the end of Doctor Strange. I don't know if you've all seen it. I'm sure you two have.
Definitely haven't, but go on.
And at the end, it's a bit cryptic whether Mordor is evil, good. And so I'm unsure of what that's going to mean at the beginning of this one. And
Wait, he's bad, right? Didn't he turn bad?
You know what
he
you can say?
did.
It's a variant. You can say it's a variant.
Oh, God.
True.
And,
That is
See,
also
again,
true.
Even I realized
more
that.
cop-outs. Just, again, nothing means anything. I mean, look, I'm going to see this movie. I'm excited about it. I know it's like the latest Marvel offering, but I gotta go back. I go back to this theory that like I just don't care about Marvel anymore because it's never ending. There's no real finality in sight. Like what are we aiming for? I thought Endgame was what we were aiming for. Just like but now where's this all going? Where is this all going?
Okay, it definitely was. I think it was the end of that phase and the end of that kind of like that 3-phase arc.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, as an MCU fan, I am a little bit lost kind of going forward what the path is going to look like.
Right.
And
Like,
that
what are we
is
trying to do here?
Yeah.
Who's the big bad? I mean, what's going on?
It's a fair criticism to have, and yeah, I don't know if you guys have any more eloquent thoughts apart from
Other than just Disney's money
the other
hungry.
thing-
I mean, there's
okay,
nothing.
okay.
I don't know what else to say about
So
that.
something that you have told me many times about why you don't like the MCU is you think that it is kiddish.
It is pretty kiddish. I do
However,
agree with that.
apparently this film is not. Chantal's face.
Not for children.
This film is not for children.
Right.
They say it's like super horror, like gore, like I don't know, like
Lots
with
of cool
PG-13, like do
kills.
not bring your kids. Like this is not kid
Again,
friendly.
thanks to Sam Raimi
Thanks to
for
Sam
stepping
Raimi.
up, the horror master
So
himself.
they say it's like it is the MCU's first horror film. There's
Right.
even like jump scares. It's gory. Apparently it's very campy. Is Evil Dead campy? I've never
Super
seen it.
campy.
I don't like.
It's
I don't
the-
like horror films, so I'm kind
Evil
of nervous.
Dead. Evil Dead is the epitome of camp.
It's
Sam
turned into,
Raimi,
like, a comedy horror.
right? Especially when you get into like the sequels, like Army of the Dead and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's ultimate.
It doesn't
camp.
take itself seriously.
Right.
And but apparently also from the first reactions, it's going to be like people. Sam Raimi and Elizabeth Olsen were definitely think people were praising, and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
But people apparently it's going to divide fans because it's a little less MCU-ish or something.
It looks pretty divisive from like first reactions for sure.
So
Someone was like, my friend and I are both huge MCU fans. I loved it. They hated it. So it's like
Wow.
dividing.
We already saw it.
No, it's someone
A
said.
review.
Someone said.
Oh, someone said that.
they
Sorry, I
and
missed
they.
that.
No,
I got it.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be talking here.
No,
Right.
yeah, I was like, what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So the thing that I'm most concerned about, and I'm curious what you guys think. You haven't seen WandaVision, have you? Okay,
No.
so I didn't think.
I loved WandaVision.
I know. So apparently there was this one, I forgot this one critic that I saw. He said that it totally ignores Wanda's arc in WandaVision. And that worries me.
I know why.
That concerns me
Yeah.
as well. And
Sam Raimi has admitted to only seeing key moments from WandaVision.
Yeah, actually, I actually read that he
but
did not
didn't
watch.
write it. But he didn't write the movie.
So what? It's like how do you direct a movie if you haven't seen WandaVision? Because apparently it's supposed to tie all of it together.
And that worries me.
It's what comes next for her. So I feel like I know he's a busy guy, but like
You
you got to do
Hello?
your
you
homework.
gotta see that. Obviously, you
Yeah.
have to see Doctor Strange.
do you have to see What If?
Apparently people are saying
Kinda.
Because I haven't
Yeah.
seen What If. That's the one show I
who's the
haven't watched.
female Captain America? from
Captain
What If?
Carter.
Captain
That's
Carter?
in What If.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
not
I haven't
Captain
seen
Kirk,
that.
but Captain Carter is what I was
Captain
trying to say.
Carter, yeah.
She's like the British
So
Captain
she's
America.
the latest like trailer reveal. Is
Right.
a quick shot of her. She was at the
She was at the
premiere.
premiere,
right?
yeah.
Right.
So that's the latest. She's
Tom
from
Cruise
What
is at
If.
the premiere apparently too.
What?
Could you
Really?
imagine?
But I don't know if that was
In
an edit.
disguise?
I didn't.
Where'd you see that, or where'd
I
you
saw
read
that
that?
on Twitter, so I don't know if that was a fan edit. I didn't double check
I don't
that.
think Tom Cruise. If he's in this movie, that's gonna be wild.
It was probably a variant of Tom Cruise. You think?
Oh my gosh.
I'm
God,
like
these
not a big Tom. Whatever.
variants.
That's a separate conversation.
Sounds like a COVID virus. Anyway,
I got the Tom Cruise variant.
I got the Tom Scientology variant.
Oh no.
and with that, I think that's a good place to maybe end it. I mean, look, I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. I'll probably go see it. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. But it's the big.
When are you guys seeing it?
I'm seeing it opening night, the like 5 p.m. or 7 p.m.
today or
No, well,
Tomorrow,
today
right?
is today Thursday?
no? Today's Wednesday.
Today
well,
is
this will be out
Wednesday.
Thursday, but
So,
yes. Okay.
Today
What
for
are
the
you seeing?
podcast.
I'm
I'll be
seeing
seeing
it.
it Thursday night.
I'm
Got
seeing
it.
it Saturday and then the following week. So
Twice? You're already
Twice.
committing to seeing it twice? What if
Of
it's
course.
bad?
Whatever. It's a movie twice. I don't know.
Oh my
I kind of want to
gosh.
see it on
Popcorn
Saturday,
twice.
but like I don't know if like that there's still tickets.
I think
Right.
Friday here
I'm
is gonna be
sure.
rough. Working here Friday.
Yeah.
I'm, like avoiding everything.
We'll see. I might catch it, and if I don't, I don't. There we go. So anyway, thank you, Chantel, for stopping by and giving us your expertise. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of
This
course.
is so fun.
Stop by anytime.
Yes, please.
And with that, I think we can kind of wrap the podcast up in general. Thank you guys for listening. Stream us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart. We're on YouTube. We're on the website, tmz.com. And we will check in with you guys next time. Take it easy.
Bye.
See ya.